of county councillors to president. It means beginning today when members of parliament, candidates for members of parliament, over 2,000 of them, begin to traverse the country looking for votes. The stakes for peaceful conduct have never been higher. And so the context of the question you are asking about the recent episodes that we have witnessed in a few places across the country is important, because as now all campaigns, all systems go from members of parliament to presidential candidates to local councillors to LC5 chairpersons, the desire to have peaceful conduct, to have non-violent campaigns, to have campaigns that follow the electoral laws could never have come at an opportune time. And that is why the Commission, one, says that a campaign process or an electoral process that is characterized by sins that do not please the eye does not please anybody. And without going into specifics, because the incidents you refer to require evidence and require thorough investigation. And as we know, that is what is happening. I would therefore not be able to pinpoint who is responsible for what. I would request that we wait for police, which is responsible for maintaining law and order, and you said you have not been able to get a representative of police to speak to this matter, for police to come up with the evidence and the context and the background and the circumstances surrounding some of those incidents. But we should not lose sight of the fact, Simon, that on the general picture of the campaign process since the presidential candidates hit the campaign trail on the 29th of September have generally been peaceful, have been applauded by almost every stakeholder, and we would like to see that image, that picture, that conduct that everybody has been pleased with, to the extent of some people saying that the campaigns are boring, and then people saying that we prefer what you call boring to be a characteristic that defines the entire campaign period, become the one that characterizes the rest of the remaining period of the campaigns, and as parliamentary candidates and local government candidates hit the campaign trails today.
Julius, why are you slow to call out security that looks rather overzealous? Look at the manner of arrests. I mean, it's just unbecoming.
You see, the Electoral Commission does not prescribe the manner in which people have to be arrested. That is not within the domain of the Electoral Commission, but the Constitution clearly stipulates that the Uganda Police Force is responsible for ensuring law and order and for ensuring compliance, and they determine the manner in which they cause that to happen. The best people that can explain what form, what mechanism, what style is used to get people to comply with the law are Uganda Police. So I would not be able to comment on that. But what we would like to say is that any site, any incident that is ugly does not please anybody and does not please an eye. And unfortunately, you see, when an incident happens in one spot, the danger is to project it and present it as if it is happening everywhere across the country. And in the process, we lose sight of the people, the candidates, the agents and supporters across the different parts of the country who actually are conducting themselves peacefully, are conducting themselves according to the laws, are conducting themselves according to the guidelines and provision of the electoral process. So it is unfortunate that we have seen those 2 or 3 episodes out of the many campaign rallies that have been conducted across the country. The Commission would like not to see even a single incident that looks like that. But when an incident like that happens, one, we need to stop and take stock and ask ourselves, how did we get here? What is the problem? How can it be resolved? And I want to inform our viewers that the Electoral Commission has so far held 2 meetings with agents of all the presidential candidates, with the police and the Commission staff at the headquarters of the Commission, And the issues that they raise and discuss are ensuring that we do not have incidents of that nature. And I believe that even in the subsequent days, the Commission will be able to again convene a similar meeting to hear what the issues were, what the causes were, and how we can ensure that we find solutions to incidents of that nature, and ensure that when there is a disagreement, that the best way to handle it is through dialogue. We believe strongly that nothing cannot be discussed, nothing cannot be dialogued upon, even when it involves the compliance and ensuring compliance with electoral laws or any other laws that govern the country.
Would you argue that in one way or the other, candidates and their supporters, would you argue that in one way or the other, candidates, all their supporters are acting outside the guidelines of the EC?
Without a doubt, when you see an incident like that, it means that all of the actors that are involved may have done something that is not consistent with the law. And that is why the core of the Commission is this, that candidates, their agents, and their supporters must all abide and act within the laws. And they know them. They know the guidelines. They know the provision. They know the do's and don'ts. We ask all of them, supporters, their candidates, their agents, to make sure that no one acts outside the law. And police is there, provided for in the Constitution, to make sure that law and order is maintained, whether it is directing traffic, whether it is ensuring that candidates are safe, that agents are safe, that supporters are safe, that the facilities of the Commission are safe. They have that duty. But we also say that in undertaking this responsibility of law enforcement, they too have to act within the law, just like the staff of the Electoral Commission must act within the law while ensuring that elections and all electoral processes are undertaken.
Do you worry that campaigns are taking a trajectory of violence? Do you worry that campaigns could be taking a trajectory of violence?
We believe strongly that the general picture across the country is generally peaceful, and all people that are acting in those places are acting in accordance with the law and inclusive with the provisions and guidelines issued by the Electoral Commission. We are not at a point where we should really be worried. Those incidents that have happened are resolvable. In fact, they were avoidable, we believe. And therefore, it is not time to begin to worry Ugandans, because what we see elsewhere across the country, and even as recent as yesterday, is that to a large extent, in general terms, the campaigns still are on course, and we believe that even the incidents that have been witnessed can be avoided going forward. And therefore, we still call upon all the actors involved in the electoral process, in the campaign process, the candidates, the agents, their supporters, to continue to be law-abiding and to keep law and order and to keep peace. Because as the chairperson of the Commission always emphasizes, Justice Jabakama Mugen Simon and the members of the Commission, peace is the most important ingredient for our country. That when there is no peace, nothing can work. And therefore, people need to know that supporting a candidate of their choice is their right. And that if somebody supports one candidate or a political party and the other one supports a different party or candidate, they should not see themselves as enemies. It is a constitutional provision, it's a constitutional right. And the framers of the 1995 Constitution, when they established the provisions for electing leaders in Article 1, Section 4, that people will choose their leader through regular, free and fair elections, and provided for the right to vote in Article 59 and subsequent articles that established the Commission. They envisaged that elections and campaigns are a civil process through which citizens of Uganda will choose their leaders at all levels, from local council to the president. And therefore, bearing that in mind, we appeal, the Commission appeals to all actors in the process to ensure that this civil conduct of choosing leaders at all levels remains a civil process that does not turn into a confrontation, that is not violent, that it is not against the laws, that it does not generate into a war and cause people to be divided. Yet elections are coming, and the elections are going by the end of February next year. We'll have gone through the elections, and the Ugandans will remain in their spaces, conducting their businesses, going about their businesses in a normal way. And that is the environment the Commission would like to see going forward. We do not want to see a situation where investors will start asking themselves whether they should invest more, whether they should keep money in the country, or whether they should flee. The other day, the chairperson of the Commission was meeting young people at Statistics House in Kampala, and he was telling them that, look, you see, you do not have to be involved in violence, because violence does not bring any benefits to anybody. And the Commission has also been speaking and talking about the importance of stability and peace for investments, for businesses to keep growing, that we don't want to see a situation where foreign investors will start asking themselves whether they should be within Uganda during the electoral period. And we are saying that they should keep here, they should keep investing their money, businesses should remain open even on voting day, because elections and campaigns and all that goes with it are civil processes that should not pause and stop the normal businesses of Ugandans.
Thank you very much, Julius Muchunguzi, for speaking to us this morning, stating the position of the Electoral Commission on the ensuing tensions emerging from last week's arrests of a number of NUP supporters. By yesterday, more than 80 members or supporters of Robert Kyagulanyi were in custody, while a number of cars had been impounded by security. Well, this morning joining me to make sense of the current state of affairs is Mr. Fred Bamwine. Mr. Fred Bamwine, a commissioner in the President's office, together with Moses Nwagaba, a political analyst and candidate for Mbarara City North. Good to have you both.
Thank you so much.
A very good morning. Well, you from Mbarara, do you have an idea, a grasp of what exactly happened?
Where?
As members of the National Unity Platform had run-ins with police over the weekend, on Friday to be specific.
You know, indiscipline can emanate from anywhere. It can come from either side. But my assessment of it is that at the moment, the Electoral Commission is operating in a very difficult environment. That's why when you speak to, like Julius was speaking, you really see that he's exact when he's speaking about indiscipline in NUP. When he reaches indiscipline in the NRM, he goes on a roundabout. That tells you about the fear factor. So my assessment of it is that the Electoral Commission is halfway in charge. It has control over those who are competing with President Museveni. It has absolutely no control over those who are in support of President Museveni. That's why you have not seen the people who are in Churhura holding sticks beating people, appearing anywhere on any police station. Have you heard of them being summoned anywhere? That was gross indiscipline, electoral indiscipline. They should have been called to the nearest police station to record statements and charges opened against them. But I have not seen that occur.
Thank you. Fred, what in your opinion could be the cause behind the turn of events? What started off as peaceful is now turning chaotic?
But I think you're happy now.
Sorry?
I think you're happy. Some weeks ago, you have been hosting visitors here. And I saw you saying, but there's no, you called it what?
Vibe.
There is no vibe. So I think you have got the vibe, what you are asking.
Not really. It's total unpleasant. It's not a place where I would love to be.
So that is not the vibe you are referring to. I think we are unfair as a country. There is this singer, I don't know what is his name, Abatasi Gansigo, that man who sang that song.
chameleon.
It's a chameleon. Because what did you sow before you go to think of harvest? I am happy with this current election commission now because they have been having quick reaction and meetings and engagements with candidates and with their agents whenever there is an incident. And I have always told people that although there are elections going on, the country does not cross. Kagwanja has to come to NBS and others are going to do it. So you must make sure you do your campaigns.
Yeah, but what's fundamental here, Mr. Bamwine,
Yes.
is getting to the root of the problem.
I'm coming
Where
to
is it coming from?
Yes. Without due care of the other users of the public space. So the root cause, I think, to me, what I'm sure about, is the do's and the don'ts Electoral Commission issued. Are all candidates following them to the letter? For instance, they are not supposed to go with entry convoys. That's what I saw Chairman Biawakama saying candidates should not carry people to other regions. But even Wagaba was in Mbarara, I think. If you see the convoy that come from other places going with different candidates, that causes what? There's this need to come with my supporters and my agents, and then there's this observation by security agencies to care about those who are not involved in the campaign. Two is the consistent radicalization of our supporters. If you have been radicalizing your supporters for 5 years, police, that's not the problem. So why do you think now that radicalization can just come off in no minute? So as far as I'm concerned, there is lack of efficient, committed engagement of candidates and agents to their supporters. And that causes police to say, no. Yes, you're going for a rally, but this is what you're supposed to do.
Okay, do you imagine police has become overzealous in one way or the other? They could have handled it better.
Yes, you see, when you talk about police, you're talking about ourselves as a country, because police comes from us. So such a situation, when there's a confrontation, although you are trained as a policeman, but there is that inner you, inner conscience. Sometimes some police or security agencies can be overzealous and overstep their mandate. That's why there's always briefing and debriefing. And at times, members of the security agencies are even apprehended into their tribunals or courts. But the question is very simple. Much as we are talking about the overzealousness of some police officers, the good thing is that the leadership of police is always giving a clear guideline. Now, when you look at that footage, if Njara, somebody has come and introduced himself as a policeman, that you are required, why do you need to fight? Because as far as we are concerned...
Okay, what I pick from you is that no is provoking security.
The mere fact that you don't want to be civil creates this fracas. Because that police, it is not police religion, it is police force. If you don't adhere to the guidelines of the day, the police will use its minimum force to guide you. But lastly, what I wanted to request all of us, much as we want our parties, we want our leaders, I want also to be able to reflect what is likely to come after elections in the whole electoral process.
We'll get there. We'll get there in a minute.
What you are missing?
I'll get to you in just a minute.
This one.
Moses, have we gotten to this extent where both parties in this particular scenario, the National Unity Platform and its supporters and security, are to blame for the fracas?
I am hesitant to blame the NUP. I'm very hesitant because I've been an observer I know what is going on. I'm very hesitant to blame NUP. In my view, they have been more disciplined than in the past. There is great improvement. Initially, the leader of NUP, Chagulanyi, was seen as young, immature, naive.
Belligerent.
Exactly. But now, the naive part has gone off. Okay? The young part is going off. Immature, we are still seeing. But apparently, the level of organization of his campaigns point to maturity. Even what comes from his mouth